In this video, I'm going to show you the exact framework and strategies that we use to build customer acquisition engines using SEO for our SaaS clients. Now, this framework has generated millions in revenue over the past 5 years and is the exact strategy and framework that we use during client engagements. Let's cut out all the noise, and I'm going to show you exactly where you should be prioritizing your efforts to have a real business impact when it comes to search engine optimization for SaaS. If you've been struggling when it comes to knowing which levers to pull or what are the next steps and actions to drive further growth, then this video is for you. Let's dive in. First things first, who are we and what do we do? So we work specifically with B2B SaaS companies, typically early stage, as well as some well-funded companies, to help them to grow demos and trial signups using SEO, using organic acquisition methods. Now, over the past 5 years, we've generated over $30 million in bottom line revenue using this exact framework and process that I'm about to show you. You'll see a few of the great clients we've had the chance to work with below and many, many others as well. Now, here's what I'm going to go over and cover in this video in 3 short steps. Number 1, the core problem most B2B SaaS businesses face when it comes to SEO. Now, this is probably going to sound familiar to you, so stand by. Number 2, our exact growth framework and how we get meaningful wins over a 90 to 180 day period. And finally, number 3, how you can start to grow faster starting today. So let's start with the main core SEO problem that most B2B SaaS businesses have, right? They typically come up upon one of these 2 roadblocks, which is number 1, they've completed some initial efforts when it comes to SEO. That might be optimization of some of their core pages. Content publishing is starting to roll through, but they're not sure exactly what to do next. So growth is probably stagnant, or they're just a bit lost in terms of, well, what do we do exactly in terms of next actions to actually drive bottom line revenue impact, right? That's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2 is they probably relied in the past on paid ads, maybe LinkedIn, Google Ads, or other sources, word of mouth, referrals, and they're starting to get ready or want to do SEO, but they don't know exactly where to start. So the goal here is we want to start to focus on taking actions that drive business results, right? And I'm going to show you exactly here in this framework what matters and how you can avoid, first of all, wasting time and effort on actions that have no real business impact. And number 2, skipping over the phase of building a ton of content, a ton of pages that add no value, that do not rank in Google, and that are just basically a waste of time, budget, and resources. So the good news here is this framework, it remains the same basically across the board for the vast majority of B2B SaaS businesses. It's really just a question of how do you take these actions and prioritize what makes sense to do first for your business and the stage at which you're at. First things first, before we jump into the framework, I want to get this out of the way. There are 2 core factors when it comes to SEO that drive real business impact. Number 1, that is content. That includes pages, articles, right? Literally written content, video content, media content you're creating, right? Content specifically is the number 1 growth lever and factor that has an actual impact. Number 2 are backlinks. So the 2 things you need to be focusing on to get results from SEO are number 1, content, and number 2, links. Let's walk through now the framework that we use and implement. First of all, going and creating and building out features and benefits pages. So if you don't already have features and benefit pages for your products, you're going to want to go and create those. And the reason why those are so important is because we want to focus on, typically over the mid to long term, to own high intent search terms that relate back to your solution. Some examples of this would be a specific keyword and platform, keyword solution, keyword software, right? These are very high intent searches where the searcher is looking for a specific solution. And obviously we want to be in front of them when those searches are going on. These solutions are solution aware, right? Again, so they have a specific need and they just need to know that our solution exists. Here's a perfect example of this of a client we worked with called Visipo that's in the event management and virtual event space. If you take a look up here on the header navigation under capabilities, you'll see they have different landing pages built out for event engagement, event marketing, event management. And why these pages are important is by building out these individual pages, we can target these specific primary terms to rank and own, for example, for event management software. So when somebody is going and searching for that high intent term, event management software, of course, as part of our solution, we want to be in front of them, right? We want to tell their story, explain what we can do, right? focus on their core problem and pain and the desired outcome that they're looking to solve with a potential solution. And that is why these pages are the core starting point to start to build and to focus on owning high intent terms over time. Now, the second thing you want to go through and start to focus on is crafting and creating competitor comparison and alternative pages. Prospects in the SaaS space are typically comparing two or more products between each other before they make a decision, right? And this is also bottom of the funnel, a high intent search where somebody is searching, for example, competitor number one versus you, or even competitor number one versus competitor number two versus you, right? Now, creating these pages, creating competitor comparison and alternative pages can create early wins in terms of driving customer acquisition for your business, right? You're telling the story of your product. You're telling the story of what you do best, and you're controlling that narrative around your product. Because if you don't go and create these pages, guess what? Your competitors have created them or will create them. G2, Capterra, Trust Radius, right? They also rank for these pages and have them typically for most products as well, right? So setting up and creating these pages is crucial because, again, this is pretty high intent when we look at a versus query. So we want to go and own this. And here's an example of a client we've worked with, Toast, that is in the restaurant POS space. And you'll see if you go under Toast tab /compare, they have a directory here where you can basically compare Toast versus their competitors. And they have individual pages set up for their different competitors, right? So the goal here, of course, is when somebody is going to search and is looking for Toast versus Revel, right? They find and land on this page, and Toast is telling the narrative of why to choose Toast over Revel, right? They have trust factors here. They focus on telling the story of why Toast makes sense. And these are extremely powerful. And again, something that you should be building early on, even if you have minimal brand awareness, minimal brand recognition. And the reason why that is because you can go and start to target also two different competitors in your space. Example of this, you're targeting competitor one versus competitor two versus you. So essentially you're inserting your business, you're inserting your product into that conversation by going and comparing against two other competitors. So very, very, very powerful stuff. The third part of the framework is we want to go and scale content, but we don't want to just go and scale any content. Our focus here needs to be hyper focused around content that actually drives acquisition, that actually drives revenue for the business. And when I say revenue-focused content, what I'm specifically talking about is building content around core problems and pain points to help your prospects, right? To help your prospects, number one, step-by-step on how to solve a problem, right? So typically there's a manual way how to solve it. Maybe that's in Excel, maybe that's another way. Whatever way that is, you're actually showing them how to solve their problem, how to resolve their pain, right? The second thing is you're going and you're showcasing, for example, in a mini case study, after you showed them how to solve the problem, a minimal, small mini case study within the content. Here's how we solved it for client XYZ, right? A customer story of how you solve this specific problem for another client. Now you can bring to the table, here's how we can help solve it for you, right? That is the type of content that goes and drives revenue, right? When you're hyper-focused and you understand and know those core questions, problems, pains that your prospects have, you can go and then build content around that, right? You should rely on that internal information and not be building necessarily around, what you find in popular search tools, rather using and building around those problems and pains and helping and adding value and educating and showing website visitors, potential prospects, exactly how to do it. And that's how you can gain their trust. That's how you can showcase your expertise. That's how you can go and build content that actually acquires customers, right? Then you want to go and take and you map this back against queries where searchers are looking to solve that problem, right? So again, they know they have a specific pain or problem. That's why they're searching for it, right? They need to know that our solution exists, which is how we're leveraging this content. Now we need to go and show and solve their problems, solve their pain, showcase our expertise, show them step-by-step how to go and do that, right? This is the type of content we want to be creating. And if we look at the typical kind of buyer awareness matrix here, right, we go from unaware at the top all the way down to most aware. Our focus from a content perspective wants to be around problem-aware audiences and solution-aware audiences, right? So problem-aware specifically, they're searching for ways to solve their problem. And for solution-aware, they're searching for terms related to a specific solution, right? So they just need to know that our solution exists and how we solve their pain or problem, right? And that's how we can go and create content that actually acquires customers and is not just kind of top funnel informational, building content, the blog's active, right? But it doesn't actually do anything to have a real business impact. Now, if you have existing content, probably one of the most missed opportunities is going back and optimizing that existing content to actually rank in search. Now, specifically what I mean is if you take a look at existing content assets that are, for example, on the blog, guides, expert guides, maybe how-tos, right? Content that is important and helps to solve a pain or problem. Now, if we can take a look at that content and understand, for example, what's on the bottom of page 1, what's on page 2 of Google, these are ripe for optimization, right? These are ripe for going back and analyzing, did we meet the intent for this topic, right? What's the preferred page type? Did we meet that? What other angles, topics, sections are other top ranking pages that are in position 1 through 3 or 1 through 5? What do they have within the content that we don't, right? Because there is a reason why out of thousands of pages, those pages are in the top of the results. So we can look at those, analyze, and understand, well, here are additional sections we can go and improve, or additional sections we can go and add. Maybe we need to change the angle, right? If these are already at the bottom of page 1 or page 2, they likely need one of two things, right? Optimization, additional content, or number 2, backlinks. And that's how we can go and improve existing content that you put time, money, resources, effort into to actually go and start to get that to rank, to go and actually start to get eyeballs, visibility, website traffic, right? If the content is the right content, we just need now to get it to rank. Now, the final point of what we need to be doing, right? We talked a lot about content. We talked about pages that we need. The final point is we need to build backlinks and authority. Links are the part of a winning recipe for any great SEO campaign. And without links, we can't rank, right? So how do we go and build backlinks, right? This is like the big mystery of how do we get links? How do we get links? Well, first of all, you shouldn't be paying for links, right? There's no need to go and pay for links from whatever website. And second of all, there's really no reason to be doing manual outreach, right? To go out and pitch and say, hey, we've updated this article. It's better than what you're linking to. Will you link to it? Like really a time-wasting activity. The best thing you can be doing is building content and building assets that will naturally get linked to as they rank, right? So with the right content assets and minimal promotion, you'll be able to scale and build your link profile to dominate the search results. Now, here's a great example of this with Exploding Topics, a company we've worked with in the past on the technical front in terms of what type of content they build to scale their link profile. Here's an example of a post called Internet Traffic from Mobile Devices. Now, again, this is not conversion content. The purpose of this content is not to drive customer acquisition. The purpose of this content is to build backlinks. And this is a great example of going and leveraging so-called statistics style content, basically doing a roundup for different topics which are relevant around your product, around your industry, around your space, going and building this content and doing a bit of promotion if you need to get this to rank. And what this is going to do is it's naturally a great resource that others want to link to. Content managers will take when they're building content and they will go and link to this, right? Journalists are typically searching for this type of content when they're doing a story. So it naturally makes sense to go and build this style of content. And as an example, you can pull back most of Exploding Topics pages that have a ton of great links to them. And if you take a look at who's linking to this specific page, names that we all know and recognize, Adobe, Wix, HubSpot, Webflow, Hotjar, SEMrush, Podbean, like the list goes on and on and on. Now, there are multiple ways, multiple strategies on how you can go and create different type of linkable assets. But the core point here is that you should be doing this naturally. You should leverage your content and natural link acquisition to go and build these links, which is totally possible. And there are hundreds of thousands of examples of companies that have done it in the past. You just need to be consistent and have a strategy behind how you go and do it. Now, what should you do next if you want to start growing faster? Option number 1, do it yourself, right? You take the content from this video, you take these ideas, you go and implement them. You either have an experienced content writer or probably 2 or 3 on your team, a link builder, maybe even internal SEO, and you go and start to make this happen yourself, right? That's option number 1. Option number 2 is you go and hire a growth partner. So you hire a team that's already figured this out, right? That's built a proven framework, that's done this successfully dozens of times for many different types of B2B SaaS businesses, that knows what works best and can help you save time, energy, and money versus going and hiring all these external resources. You're trying to manage this yourself. So if you're interested in learning if your B2B SaaS is a good fit to work with me and my team to help you put together an organic growth strategy and drive out success as a growth partner, here's what you need to know. Who is a good fit to work with us? Number 1, you're a B2B SaaS company looking to grow faster and you want to go all in on driving MRR growth. That's number 1. Number 2, you're making over 500,000 ARR. Your customer LTV is greater than 1K and you're ready to move fast. You have bandwidth, you have buy-in internally to go and make this happen, right? Those are the types of potential prospects that are a great fit for us and that we find we're able to get the best results for. Now, you're probably not a good fit if you haven't proven out product market fit, right? That's number 1. Number 2, if you're not ready to invest at least $5,000 per month into your organic customer acquisition strategy. Hiring for those 3 or 4 roles internally, if you have a team already, right? You're going to need quite a bit more amount of budget to do that in-house, right? Versus hiring externally in a team that's already, ramped up and ready to go. The third thing is you expect to be profitable from a return on investment perspective in the next 30 to 60 days, right? This is going to take a bit of time. It shouldn't take years. In many cases, it shouldn't even take a year, but we should be looking at, those leading indicators to start in the first few weeks and then moving directly into looking at customer acquisition, signups, demos, right? That's what we want to be tracking in the short term. But if you're expecting this to work, in the next 30 days, it's probably not a good fit. And finally, your customer LTV is under 1K. So if this sounds like a fit and you're looking to potentially hire a growth partner to help you grow and scale even faster, I would definitely welcome you to set up a one-on-one call with me to take a deeper dive and walk through. All you have to do is go to rocktherankings.com and up on the top right, you'll see the call to action there to set up a call, or you can visit rocktherankings.com/contact and you can book time directly on my calendar to speak with me. And even if you're not a good fit, we'll be honest about that. We'll tell you up front because we only want to work with clients that we know we can get results for. So we'll take a look, give you an honest opinion and break everything down for you. If it is a good fit, we'll put together a customized marketing plan and everything you need to know there step-by-step on how you can start to scale MRR growth and use this framework that we used dozens of times before for past clients to help them to make organic their customer acquisition method. I appreciate you checking out the video. I hope it was helpful and provided some insights, and I wish you luck on your journey when it comes to making organic your customer acquisition engine.